Real sushi was a luxury reserved only for the elite, since most sea life had become radioactive after the Third Terran War. The rest of us had to eat new sushi, soya mixed with off-world lichen.
Welcome to the third and final route. This is going to be a very condensed playthrough compared to the other two. If you haven't played or watched this game to the end before now, then a lot of this probably won't make much sense. This video is going to be a single run, crammed with as much missed content as I can fit in, while cutting out most of the content that we have seen before. Oh yes, when I say third and final route, there are actually 6 different ways that this route can end. So, without further ado, let's make a start.
Beautiful night, isn't it?
When business thriving, night always beautiful.
This girl ever eat around here?
Nah, all gaijin look like the old man. Zubin, onna mimashita? You seen girl?
I don't know her. Got to mix more out back.
Dynamite dining, old man. Catch you later.
Right, let's go and see Zubin. Hi there.
Howie says you're a master chef.
You not come back here. Air bad.
This'll only take a minute. You know this girl or not?
Nope. I know who I know, and who I don't know. I don't know her.
Think hard.
Okay. Maybe seen her once. At station. Riding north on bullet train.
North, huh?
I'm not sure how that knocked over McCoy, but there we go.
The guy dumped new such all over my coat and didn't even stick around to apologize. Looked like someone with a guilty conscience to me.
He went down far too easily.
He was just an old bum. Not Howie's cook, and certainly not a replicant. I'd screwed up, plain and simple. If I was going to get clear of this, I needed to tell Guza, and the sooner the better.
In a moment, we have a Zubin to catch.
I knew what I was doing wasn't right, but I didn't have time to answer questions back at the station. Besides, specials vanished every day in this city, and no one ever missed them. The body was still there. I didn't know when the trash got picked up in this neighborhood, but I hoped it was soon.
That's very cold, McCoy.
Locked.
It seems like Zubin has escaped. We should probably mention this incident to Guza.
Keeping out of trouble, Howie?
You bet, McCoy. Some joker you are.
Lieutenant, I shot a guy down in Chinatown.
You what? Damn it, what are you telling me? I don't need this, not today.
Hey, I'm trying to do the right thing here. I could have left the guy to rot.
You're gonna owe me on this one, McCoy. Big time. I'm gonna have to call in some favors. So they're calling it a justified shooting.
I kind of thought they might.
That doesn't mean your ass is out of the fire with me, McCoy. You may have put one over on internal affairs, but you and I both know the real Skinny.
Is that right?
You can't just go around waxing civilians. Look, McCoy, I know how it is on the street. It's easy for a Blade Runner to step over the line. You do this job right, you got a long career ahead of you. But you screw up again,
I can handle it.
you better. Get lost, we both got work to do.
I'll wax who I want, when I want. Okay, let's go home to bed. Oh, hi there.
Rumor has it you've been earning your stripes, McCoy.
Working on it.
Keep it up. You just might have a future in this business.
I understand it's got a hell of a retirement plan.
You VK the mark before retirement?
Didn't have to.
That's why they call it the magic.
I'm starting to understand.
You ever retire a human, your career is over. Remember that. I checked with UN Air. Looks your rep swung that Moonbus massacre last month.
They ever find the moon bus?
Disappeared into thin air. Brian thinks it crashed out in the Kipple.
How many reps we talking about?
Enough. They're Nexus 6s. So don't take too much slack.
Gotcha.
Well, we did retire a human, and our career is far from over.
Yuck.
There are a few different ways that we can handle this Ezo situation. In the other playthroughs, I went back up and around, but we can actually leave this area via the sewer system here.
I am not about to have all my hard work obliterated just because you stumbled into my shop, Detective. Westerners need guns and hardware. All I need is will.
Move it! I've been tracking Ezo for a week and you ruined my whole play in 2 seconds.
Sorry. I bet you can still catch him if you want.
If I didn't know any better, I'd think you wanted him to get away.
You crazy? I've been tailing him myself.
Little word of advice, Slim. Stay out of my way. Next time, I'm not gonna worry about who's in my line of fire. Understand?
If Ezo is a replicant, we can actually get in the way of Crystal Steel. If we go the long way around, then we can get in the way up this end as well. But the timing is short and you have to be fairly precise. If Ezo is human, then Crystal Steel comes from this side of the screen again and arrests him. But this means Ezo has escaped and he will make it onto the Moonbus. That's if you decide to actually go down that route. Apparently he does appear in the late act, but we are not able to speak to him. Anyway, let's go and visit Bullet Bob.
That a 45 blaster under your coat, or you just happy to be here?
You got good eyes.
They ought to be. They're the only organs of mine that survived the Phobos Wars intact.
Ray McCoy, Rep Detect.
Blade Runner, huh? How come I never heard of you?
I just got assigned.
Yeah, I'm kind of buddies with Davey Holden. How's he doing?
Word is he's gonna be okay.
That skin job must have been pretty damn quick getting by Davey like that. He's the best in the business.
He'll be back on the job soon.
Now, the trick here is not to ask about Hassan, which is very subtly put right at the top. If we talk about Hassan, then Bob gets pissed off. So we're going to go with these other options first. And I'm going to do something slightly different with the Voight-Kampff test.
How'd you feel about taking a little test?
Test? You mean the Voight-Kampff?
Yeah, I don't think you're a rep, but I want to...
Hey. You don't have to explain. I always wanted to see the machine in action. Go on, set it up.
Reaction time is a factor in this, so please pay attention. Where do you live?
Downtown, 4th sector. Hey, this is great. Should I be sitting any special way?
Just relax. What do you do for a living?
I sell donuts. Come on, is the whole thing gonna be this dull?
Just answer the questions as truthfully as you can. What's your name?
Bob Gorski. This ain't no different than the DMV.
Just a sec.
Now, I have shown off the Voigtkampf test numerous times, but one thing I haven't shown off is that we can adjust the calibration. I have done a few tests with this, especially with Bob, and I know that if we move this slider all the way to the right, 100% of the time he's come out as human. Well, he is human, but it is possible to get a false positive reading for being a replicant, and sometimes it's possible to get a undecided response from the test. And if we slide it all the way to the left, I found out that every time Bob comes out as a replicant. So we can actually abuse this system if we want to, and I'll show you just how. Well, we just ask questions as normally.
You rent a mountain cabin. On the walls, someone has hung old maps and Currier and Ives prints.
I'm not much for art.
A deer's head is mounted above the fireplace. A full stag with developed horns.
I'd burn it. Burn the whole damn place to the ground.
Positive result. Subject is replicant. Test terminated.
So that's it?
Yeah?
Since you didn't shoot me, I must have registered okay.
Yeah, it was touch and go there for a while.
Well, you know, I think about skin jobs all the time. Try to get into their heads. Maybe that's what the deal is.
Now, I haven't really tested this out with other people, but this has worked every time.
Hey, check out the man's database. Is that the standard model?
What, the Kaya? Yeah, it's department issue.
I could fix it up for you. Make it not quite so freaking standard, if you get my drift.
What for?
Hey, Ray, relax. I'm your pal, ain't I? You don't have to step soft around me. The department's been infiltrated, right? That's the only way Davy could have been taken out like he was.
Holden is good, no question.
When you hook into the main frame, you always give them everything. But you don't always want them to know what you know. 'Cause then they'd know, you know? What do you say?
Sounds like a plan. Set it up.
There you go. Better than new.
So let's take a look at this new KIA.
I've modified this thing to let you pick and choose what gets uploaded to the police mainframe. Right-click on any clues you want to keep to yourself.
If we want to recap, we just have to click on this microchip just here. And I did mention this very early on in the recording of the first playthrough, I believe. But because I mentioned Hassan in both playthroughs, I did not pick this up. So it's pretty simple. And the aim of this is to hide certain information from the database. For example, McCoy being on the moon bus. It does affect some dialogue later on, especially with Crystal Steele, because as we know, she does have access and has uploaded information herself, and she is following another case that links with ours. So for example, we click on something like the sushi menu.
Howie Lee's. Bryant once got food poisoning there, so he shut it down for a couple of months. Now it was always good for a freebie.
And we just right click. And I think this is a bad example, as we have already uploaded this to the KIA. Well, the database itself. But yes, anything we want to keep secret that hasn't already been uploaded, we could just right click. It does affect the gameplay slightly, but not by a great deal. And if we ask about Hassan, we get a different response about the goggles.
You ever seen anything like these?
Those are real beauties. Radiation goggles from the Off-World Wars. The 2017 model.
Would a replicant need something like this?
Hell, the skin jobs were the only ones who wore them. The humans weren't allowed to get that close to the flashpoint. UN Command figured it out because the rep's skin held up, but their eyes melted inside 2 kilometers from ground zero. Where'd you get them from?
Ezo.
I knew it. I knew that son of a bitch was dirty as soon as he moved in. He's got that cold rep way about him, you know what I mean?
Don't jump to conclusions.
Sure, sure. Hey, I'd love to be there when you take him down. I could get a photo of it, put it up on my wall of fame. Davy's up there, so's Gaff. Wanna see?
Some other time.
Oh yes, there is a third ammo option available in the missed contents, restore contents, but it's being planned in a future update. So right now there is only 2 different types of ammo that we can actually use.
You got any decent ammo for my piece?
You mean the good stuff? 'Cause I know them police-issue spitballs just don't cut it.
Not these days.
Yeah, I know how it is. If you want to drop a skin job, you need a little extra oomph. I got a few clips around here somewhere, if you got the chin yen for it.
Okay, let's have it.
Oh yes, and because Bob is a replicant now, according to us...
Hey, put that away!
I'm gonna put something away, but it ain't gonna be my gun. Not the talkative type.
Wow. If we shot Bob when he was confirmed to be a human, then McCoy actually expresses some regret. Well, a lot of regret. But because we adjusted the test to make him a replicant, he has no sympathy at all. Anyway, let's move on.
What's going on? Who did this?
Help me, sir. Please, help me. It is going to blow.
What's behind that door there?
Are you crazy? That's a bomb on the chair.
I'm sorry, sir, but it seems like I can't help you here.
No! Locked. No way through here.
Well, it was more of a mercy killing.
The guy who'd set the bomb had been sloppy. He kept the charge small enough to leave the wall standing. If he just wanted to take out Miraji, this was overkill. If my instincts were right, he was the same Joker who lit up the Tyrell building. Dangerous, but still an amateur.
Now this dialogue here indicates that Sadiq is actually a human instead of a replicant. As if he is a replicant, he would actually have off-board experience with explosives.
Locked. No way through here.
There's also that massive piece of debris blocking the doorway as well.
You let him in my room?
They had a warrant, mister. What was I supposed to do?
Put the hotel manager down nice and slow.
Who the hell are you?
McCoy, LPD.
LPD, huh? Maybe you guys can return something to me.
There are several things that I will show off here. Pretty much minor things, but still.
Hey, you don't need to do that.
Think real hard, JF. You got anything here that someone would want?
There's nothing in here. People don't even like to come inside my building. Please, you don't have to pull your gun in here.
I got ambushed in here once before. It ain't gonna happen again.
Alright, time to take our anger out on something.
Plastic and wires. Not human and not a replicant. And I wasted another bullet. Fans. They were supposed to clear out the air toxins, but they sure didn't work too well. Someone said that in the old world they were actually used to keep an area cool.
Up here was where Sadiq kicked the crap out of us. And if we look closely at our evidence, we have this evidence here, which is staggered by punches.
My ribs still hurt, and at least 2 teeth were loose. Sadiq was a tough customer, but he just didn't act like a rep. I got in at least one good shot, and he definitely felt it. A Nexus 6 wouldn't have even blinked.
So that confirms that Sadiq is actually human in this playthrough. Anyway, let's carry on. In the Sympathizer run, we had Lucy calling us up at the end, wanting a romantic involvement with McCoy. Now, it is possible to have a romantic involvement with Victoria, but it's slightly more trickier. We do have one or two more interactions with Lucy. The main way to get the Victoria route is to piss off Lucy and be as nice to Victoria as we can be. The first instance is killing Zubin, because if we let Zubin live, then Lucy calls us up and is very grateful. Shooting him means that there is no phone call. So we have Lucy here.
I've been looking for you.
Please, leave me alone. Father told me to watch out for you.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
Have you always lived on Terra?
Yes.
Father told me he thought Terra would be so special and beautiful. Birds and flowers and trees and blue water. But it's not like that at all. I don't remember it ever being like that.
Now we could warn her about Crystal, which means we put ourselves in her good books again. But if we threaten to Voight camp her, it annoys her further.
Come with me. I've got a test I want you to take.
Now you notice that Lucy ran off in this direction instead of through the Hall of Mirrors. Now this is a sign to say that she is actually human, because when she runs into the Hall of Mirrors, you can chase up to her and either talk to her or kill her or let her escape. When she escapes via this route, there is no catching up with her. I believe that there are 4 different ways whether we can tell that Gordo is a replicant or not. One of those ways is if we hear a news report about a entertainment model that has been retired, and that usually means that Gordo is a replicant. There's also a sales brochure that can be found outside of Eisendeller's chamber, and if it mentions an entertainment model, that means Gordo is a replicant. But that sales brochure can also mention a Lolita model, which indicates that Lucy is a replicant. The third way is more subtle, and something that I missed during both playthroughs originally, is that when we speak to Gordo, he puts a lighter on the bar, and if it's painted silver, it means he's a replicant, and that he was a member of the Lightning Squad during the Battle of the Gemini. If it's painted in gold, it usually means he's human, but sometimes it can mean he is also a replicant who just happens to have a gold lighter. And the fourth way is after we have had his little stand-up routine, and if Gordo asks McCoy if he pretended to be a replicant and acts like he is trying to be a martyr, that normally means that Gordo is human. But if Gordo accuses McCoy of, well, implicates McCoy of being a replicant and says that if he believes that someone is a replicant that he can blow someone else away, that usually means, well, that actually means that Gordo is actually a replicant himself. Okay, now let's start this off.
Hey man.
You're that cat from Howie Lee's. McCoy, right? We keep bumping into each other. You want an autograph? I know you ain't heard of me yet, but Gordo Frizz's autograph's gonna be worth a pile of chinion someday.
I'll hold my breath. I'm gonna ask you a few questions.
Man, don't you got anything better to do than hassle innocent people at their place of work? Make it snappy, okay?
I really appreciate your patience.
We can only ask him one topic of conversation, and the cheese route is pretty interesting.
You like cheese, Gordo?
Ain't that bad, man. My jokes are fresh, real hip.
No, I mean real cheese. Dairy products, you know, from Kingston Kitchen.
So you're wasting shoplifters instead of replicants these days?
Then an admission of guilt?
For crying out loud. Can't a guy make a living in this fakakta place without being hassled?
You know a girl named Lucy, Gordo? You steal that cheese for her, maybe?
My man, it's showtime.
Your friends are replicants, Gordo. What else would I find if I turned over the rock?
Gotta go, Daddy-o! Do what you gotta do, McCoy. If you gotta shoot, that's cool. Come on, McCoy. Why don't you make me famous?
Get off it. You're no replicant.
How do you know? I could be a martyr for the cause, baby.
Every rep I've ever seen wants to live, not die, pal.
What are you, an expert?
I've been around.
If we had put our gun away and Gordo was actually a replicant, he would shoot us and run off. I let him go originally. Let's arrest him this time.
You may not be a rep, but you're a damn rep sympathizer for sure. Now we're gonna take a little ride downtown.
Yeah? And what? You'll put me on that Voight Kampf machine? My 15 minutes of fame, baby. It ain't as good as being gunned down in the street, but what the hell?
You keeping busy, pal?
Show's over, baby! And there ain't gonna be no encore!